Hey guys, welcome to Sippin Spillin with Syd from 3 Mississippi. Woo, this lawn needs mowed, y'all. It grew up, we had a couple days of rain out here, and my kids just mowed, and then it rained for a few days straight. So it looks like a jungle out here. It's it's pretty intense, but it's beautiful out today. It's lovely. Um, it's a beautiful day. Yesterday was a beautiful day too. But it was a work day, so Mike was working. But I did so much stuff yesterday, guys. I got a burr in my saddle, and I was like, Mike keeps telling me, don't do anything in the garage yet. Don't do anything in the garage yet. Well, then we had the birds brooding in the garage, so it was kind of pointless to kind of clean out and organize the garage. I like to do that kind of stuff like at least once a year, and it's been about a year since we're coming up on our 1 year of being here. And it was just one of those things where I got the birds out and I was looking at the garage and things had kind of just gotten thrown in there, and some, things from the trip and coolers that we had just gotten for the trip and things like that. And I was like, I need to organize this space. Something awful. So, uh, so I did. I got in there yesterday and I kind of gutted the garage. In fact, I'd like to walk you guys over there and show you what I did. I didn't film any of it because I didn't do anything spectacular in there. Now there is a pile of boxes you're about to see. Some of that stuff is old hard drives and some of Mike's stuff from his music days and that kind of thing. So he's still figuring out like sorting through some of those things, but I'll show you guys. I cleaned out, I organized, that's all of our like paper goods over here, and my kitty litter. I did just throw those cushions in there. They actually need to go in there, but I didn't move them yet. Forgot about them. Bunko, of course, is always excited that the garage door is open. And I got something to show you guys too. But so this little pile here, of course, is all our canning jars are all sorted over here. And then this is all my Christmas stuff that eventually he's going to make a spot for in the shop. That will be the next thing that he and I attack as far as kind of organizing, so we can make some more space. And there's some things that, you kind of, there's things that accumulate and then you're not sure where to put them. And then when you have things, you're like, well, now I need to reorganize, right? So we're kind of at that phase where, we've bought some new equipment since we've been here, and he's kind of figured out where he wants his seed start table to be, and where he's got his tool bench that he built several videos ago. So, we're kind of at that point now where we need to reorganize it a little bit and kind of, find some homes for places, homes for things that we didn't have really until we got here. Like a lot of the Christmas stuff, like was newer, because a lot of our Christmas stuff I kind of got rid of before we left. Obviously, I kept like the family stuff, but I got rid of our tree. I got rid of a lot of our wreaths and lights and things like that. I just like, let's start fresh, because a lot of them were sort of hand-me-downs and some of the lights didn't work anymore. And it was one of those things where I was like, is it worth lugging it all the way to Mississippi? No. But like this is a box of ornaments from my aunt. Those were a wedding gift from her. So of course those I put out every year. But anyway, so I've got all my Christmas stuff over here. And then there's those totes behind here are things like dried beans and sugar and flour and things like that we always like to keep on hand. But then unfortunately this little pile, Mike is going to go through it here in the next couple of days in the evenings when it's cooler, and kind of pare it down and then figure out, because some of his stuff he sort of packed in a frenzy when we left California. You guys may have heard us talk about that in other videos. There was an entire shed that he forgot about on the property that he had packed up of stuff that he's always, mind you, Mike has always had a storage unit to some degree or another, right? When I first met him, he had a storage unit, and that's where he kept all his music gear. That's where he kept all his, military stuff that he'd had from being in the military, and just his personal items, right? That's where he kept all that stuff. And then when we moved to our first house, the garage was really that for him. We had these rafters in the garage and everything was sort of up there. So he really didn't look at it the entire, 8 years that we lived there. And then when we moved to Ramona, he basically just boxed them up, put them on the truck, and then put them in the shed on the property in Ramona. And half the shed was kind of his stuff, like his storage unit. The other half was his tools. He had remembered to pack most of the other half, but had forgotten about his personal items, basically. So that's what most of this is. And so some of it needs to be gone through and organized because it's basically just been boxed and moved like 3 times now. So there's probably things in there that he maybe doesn't need to keep anymore, or maybe things that can be organized better. There might be some things in there. In fact, I know there are because I looked in some of the boxes yesterday when I was sorting them for him. There's some things that have damage from, where water had gotten in or they had gotten left outside or something. So he's going to have to go through it and kind of figure out what's what. But he will be making a home for those things in the shop. And then back here, guys, we've got our extra fridge, which he's got all his produce in here. And then that he harvests for the farmer's market. And then we have our pantry here with all of our, canned meats that we've done since we've been here, and our olive oils and extra spices and mustards and crackers and all kinds of things down here, and some paper goods and whatever. So, and then we've got all our stuff back here that's like, my ice cream maker for when I have milk from my goats. We've got the meat grinders and the juicer and the big pots for cooking his sauce and all of that. But I kind of got it all organized and put away. So I was really happy that now I can walk in the garage. I'll be really happy when this stuff's gone too. Oh, and then I've got, of course, our coolers over here, our other outdoor fridge that's probably going to end up in the shop at some point. I'm not sure. I don't have it plugged in right now. I just kind of moved it when we got this fridge because we weren't really using it. I think at some point I will be getting another fridge, but part of the reason I kind of had a burr in my saddle to get this done was I wanted to start this project and kind of get it a little bit better and more usable in here, because eventually when we have a Sip of Freedom weekend here next summer, I want to be able to have the garage door open and have, the coolers set up in here. We'll have the chest freezer just completely full of bags of ice for people to grab. And we'll have a little area where, people can come and grab water out of or whatever. So I think that'll be good. But yeah, that was kind of what got me started on this. I need to do it now. And I do this a few times a year where I sort of might call it my cleaning frenzy, where I sort of freak out. And he's like, don't throw everything away. Cause sometimes I do that. Like I will fill a dumpster. I made a giant burn pile yesterday. I mean, giant. It burned for hours. I don't know what was in it, but it burned for a really long time. Like a really long time. Like the longest burn pile that I've ever made. Burned a long time. But anyway, I did want to show you guys. I got this lovely picture from, hold it up so you guys can see it. It's almost said it's a flamingo. It's a peacock. And there's from Psalms 91:4, you will find refuge under his wings is written on it. And one of my friends from church, one of her friends happens to watch our channel. One of her, I believe her granddaughter or her friend's granddaughter, I missed that part, is friends with Frankie. And they go to youth group together. And even though she goes to a different church, but they see each other all the time. And they don't go to the same school, but their schools are next to each other. And so they see each other a lot. But anyway, she knew that I loved birds. And she saw that and she just got it for me. And I thought that was so sweet. So I literally just brought it out of the truck because we just got it, I think it was yesterday. So I need to find a spot for it in my office and bring it in. But I thought that was so sweet that she did that. They had gone thrifting at the thrift store and she found that. And she was like, I have to give this to Syd. When will you see her? And so Lisa gave it to me. So that was just very, very sweet of her to do that. And so I told Lisa I need to put together a little thank you basket for her of some goodies from the farm. So I'll have to ask Lisa what she thinks that she would like or use, because I don't know this woman. I've never met her. So I don't know if she's, allergic to tomatoes. Like, I don't want to give her a bunch of tomatoes if she's allergic to them or something. I don't think anybody in the South is allergic to tomatoes, though. I think that's like one of the things when you move here that you got to check the box, But yeah, so I gotta find out and put something together for her. But Mike has been pickling like crazy. We took the rest of the cucumbers and harvested some more, and he pickled a bunch of pickles. He did maybe like, I would say probably like 75% he did bread and butter, and then 25% he's doing dill. So because we like dill, I love dill pickles. I like bread and butter pickles, but they're not my favorite. My favorites that I've had are ones that I've made in the past, a long time ago. But he thinks that they're a little too. He doesn't think that that recipe would go over well here. They're my favorite. I might make myself a small batch of those at some point this season, just because I like them. And Frankie liked those too, and so did he. I think it's just been a while since I made them because his, last year he kind of downsized the garden since we were in the middle of moving. And then prior to that, his crop of cucumbers, he had some kind of infestation or something happened. I don't recall, but we didn't get any cucumbers. So it's been a couple years since I've made them, since I've made the pickles. So, which is fine, and I think I've got the recipe somewhere. Sometimes I forget where I put my recipes, or I maybe didn't write it down or save it where I thought I did. So I always go back to some of our older videos and I'll find, oh, I did post this recipe. Good. And I'll like grab it because I'm like, I don't remember sometimes where I put stuff, or, oh yeah, that's right, I used to make this all the time and I had made a video on it. So it's kind of nice to have that as reference sometimes, because I forget. You get in the habit of making something a lot, and then things change, circumstances change. Maybe you don't have that item available, or your kids decide they don't like it anymore or whatever, and you stop making it for a while, and then you go, oh, I forgot, I used to really love fill in the blank. So I'm really hoping my mic's on. I know I turned it on. Okay, good. For some reason, all of a sudden, I just had this panic that my mic wasn't on and my lips were moving and nothing was coming out. But that's all right. Well, I'm getting into the tall grass over here. I am only wearing flip-flops right now, so we're just kind of wandering around. I should probably put socks and muck boots on, but it's too nice out here for that. I just want to wear flip-flops and walk around. I am always paranoid, especially after watching that one video Mel did on Real Talk, where she's walking in her flip-flops and walked right up on, I think it was a copperhead or something. I don't want to be that. So I'm always trying to look down and look up and look down and look up so that I don't walk into a snake. But it's beautiful out today, guys. It's not too hot, it's not too humid. It's lovely. It's a lot of days like this that remind me of kind of the weather we had in Ramona. Sometimes it's a little bit more humid, but Mike and I were saying, we've acclimated to it. It never really bothered me that much. But Mike doesn't do as well with heat. So, but I think he's getting used to it. And my buddy's going for a walk with me, as always. He's everywhere I go. He's my little shadow. And then this morning when I came out, I wish I had my camera with me when I went out this morning to take the dogs out. I noticed I had moved Rico, my big beautiful rooster that you see in the beginning of our intro for 3 Mississippi, that does his big crow and opens his mouth real wide. I had to separate him out because he wasn't getting along real well with my geese, and he wasn't being mean to them really. It was more they were just terrified of him, and I don't really know why. Millie, my older goose, she has been around roosters her whole life, never has had issue with them before. She's been around ducks and all of that before. She's never had any issues. Something about Rico, just, I don't know, she didn't like him. I don't know why. So I moved him out because I knew I was going to be putting those ducklings in, and the geese were getting a little scared of him all of a sudden. And I just thought, well, you know what, I'll just move him for a little while until we finish. We're going to be putting some perimeter fencing out so that they can free range outside of their run. some hot wire out there. And I thought, you know, since they're kind of cooped up, and I just added the ducklings in there last week before we went to Freedom Weekend, I thought, well, you know what? I'll just wait and kind of put him separately for a little while until they kind of calm down and the ducklings get a little bit bigger, because I could see him potentially trying to pick at the ducklings because they're so young. So hopefully in the next week or so, weather and work allowing, we'll be able to get that put up. But I come out here and I look, and Rico's temporary pen that Mike put together the other day, he started putting it together because we had found that lost beagle on the trace, and ended up not needing it for the beagle because we found the owners right away. Because obviously we didn't want to just let him loose, and we weren't going to leave him in the house because our dogs, and we don't know this dog, we don't know if it's got any bugs or issues and all of that. So anyway, I come out, I look out the back door window, and his pen's empty. And I'm like, oh shoot, something got him, or he got out, like something must have got him, but I didn't see any feathers. Then movement catches my eye over here in front of the coop, and he's out here walking around just living his life. And I think he just scaled it and got over the top because we don't have a top on it. I can't put him in with those other roosters that are not mine, because those guys are really mean, and he's such a little gentle boy. In fact, I just walked right up to him and scooped him up and put him back in his pen, and he was fine. Like, he didn't run from me, he lets me pet him, and I can just scoop him right up and he's fine. So he's a very mellow rooster. I don't want to get rid of him, and I don't like, we should just make Coco Vaughn, and I'm like, no, I want to keep him. He's very mellow. I can just walk up and pick him up. I've had roosters that are mean. I'm all for repurposing those roosters that need an attitude adjustment if they can't be subdued, or if they're beating up my girls or whatever, you know. But this guy, he's a beautiful barred rock, and I don't want to get rid of him, and he's gentle. So anyway, right now he's in a holding cell until I can let them out a little bit more and the ducklings get a little bit bigger. But we're getting there. But you know, it's a busy week because we got our live with you guys tomorrow. We got a bunch of other stuff going on tomorrow, some stuff at church and whatever. And then Thursday, I gotta process those Cornish out in the field. So Frankie and I are gonna do that. My friend Beth, who you guys may remember from some videos, that lives out here, she is real interested in that. She's never seen it before, and so she wants to maybe come and watch. And I'll film some of that. I'll do a video. In fact, that will be Friday's video on 3 Mississippi. Will be me talking a little bit about our process of how we process out our birds, and why, and all of that stuff. So that'll be Friday's video on 3 Mississippi. But anyway, and then Friday during the day, so I got to turn that video around fast because I'm doing them on Thursday, so I'm gonna be up late. But then Friday, I gotta spend all day making lemon zucchini bread. So I'm gonna have to go to the store probably on Wednesday, pick up some of the lemons that I need. I already got all I got all my baking soda, baking powder, all that stuff. But I need to get lemons for it, and I need to get ice, and you tell them, Rico. And I gotta get propane. I gotta make sure. I told Mike to check the tanks for me because they're kind of buried in the back of his shop, to see if there's a full one. Then I don't need to go get propane. But if there's not, I need one for the scalding bath for the birds. So busy week this week, you guys. Like, getting those birds in the freezer. I'm excited. That's the first meat that will be harvested that we raised off the property. Mike and Frankie, if you followed our journey in the fall here, of course, bagged a few deer, and we've still got venison in the freezer, but we haven't had anything that we've raised that we've processed out yet. So this is like a big deal for me. I'm excited about it. Because, you guys know the animals are my jam. Raising the meat, that's my jam. So I'm super excited about that, and I can't wait. And I think that I'm going to have to plug in the other freezer because there may not even be room between the two big freezers right now. I have to take a look before Thursday and see if I need to do some moving around. Probably do that Wednesday evening after our live with you guys. But man, guys, I'm excited to get them done so that I don't have to carry buckets of water like a fire brigade, like a bucket brigade out to the pasture anymore. I mean, they're ready. They're done now. In all honesty, I probably could have done them on like right when we got back from Freedom Weekend, like within those 2 or 3 days, but there was so much going on and then it rained. Trust me, you don't want to be processing birds in heavy rain. In drizzle, in a little bit of wet is ideal because then it keeps your bugs down and stuff. So I'll have my fans plugged in to kind of help. And I'm probably very likely going to end up doing it under this oak tree back here because I got my hose, I got my electric right there. Plug in my plucker and bang it all out because we're not supposed to have any rain on Thursday. We are supposed to on Wednesday, but not on Thursday, so that'd be ideal. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's gonna be good. Got bugs all over me. I got massive bug bites on me right now, guys, and I had sprayed myself down and everything, but they still, they like me this week. But anyway, guys, between the pickles, the zucchini bread, and processing out those birds and tackling the garage and all of that, and roosters escaping, I've had a busy week so far, and it's only Tuesday. So there's a lot happening this week that I'm trying to get planned out and get ready to do. So I appreciate you guys joining us for the journey, and I'm excited for this week's farmers market for Mike to bring all the goodies there and get her done. And I think it's gonna be a good week for the farmers market, having these extra goodies of the pickles and the zucchini bread. I don't know if he's gonna make the sauce yet. I know he kind of froze the tomatoes that he cut up just because the pickles have been taking longer and he's been so busy at work. And he won't let me make the sauce, even though I make a good sauce. He doesn't want me to do it. He likes to do it. And I let him do the things he likes. So that's the key, right? But anyway, guys, Rico and I and Bunko appreciate you very much. We're glad you have checked in with us. If you haven't gone and checked out 3 Mississippi and you only follow us here, that's nuts. We do way cooler stuff over on 3 Mississippi. So you gotta go check that out. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you guys. And as always, stay blessed and safety's off.